The idea of China as a sinful place often starts with whispers and headlines, stories of soulless cities, relentless factories, and a government that never blinks. These images paint a society obsessed with money, power, and competition, where traditional values are supposedly swept away by modernization. Stereotypes build from fragments, tales of corruption, environmental damage, and a lack of Western-style religion. It's easy to assemble these into a mosaic of sinfulness, especially from afar. But reality is rarely so simple. Spend time on the ground, and the monolithic image fractures. You see millions of individual stories, each with its own motivations and moral calculations. The grand narrative of a sinful nation breaks down into complex, deeply human realities. The truth is far more nuanced than the whispers suggest. Understanding China means dismantling these preconceptions piece by piece. In the West, sin is a transgression against divine law, a concept rooted in Abrahamic religions. This framework shapes Western judgments of morality, often projecting its standards onto other cultures. In China, morality is shaped by Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. Traditions focused on social harmony, duty, and balance, not divine commandments. Wrongdoing here disrupts relationships and community, not a God's law. What's considered a sin in the West, like prioritizing the group over the individual, might be a virtue in China. Conversely, actions seen as normal in the West, such as placing parents in nursing homes, can be viewed as grave moral failures in China. The very definition of right and wrong is not universal. When we call China sinful, we're often mistranslating, imposing one culture's moral code on another. True understanding requires seeing through a different ethical lens. China's legendary work ethic, epitomized by the 996 culture, often looks like exploitation from the outside. But for many, relentless labor is about fulfilling family responsibilities, not just chasing wealth. The young programmer in Shenzhen may be supporting parents and siblings back home. The street vendor's ambition is collective, sacrificing for the family's future. Yes, the pressure can lead to moral compromises, corners cut, qualifications exaggerated. But these choices are often seen as pragmatic, not purely dishonest. The moral question isn't just about personal gain, but about providing for loved ones. In a society with recent memories of poverty, hard work is a moral imperative. The grind is viewed as a noble struggle, not a sinful obsession. The Chinese workplace is a landscape of gray shaped by duty, history, and collective dreams. Ambition here is as much about survival and family as it is about personal success. In the West, independence is prized. Young adults are often encouraged to leave home, forge their own paths, and make decisions based on personal goals and desires. The focus is on self-reliance and individual achievement, with family support seen as important, but not central, to every life choice. In China, by contrast, family is the core of moral life. The family unit is not just a support system, but the foundation of identity and responsibility. Filial piety, Zhaoshun, means respecting and caring for parents and elders, not only through words, but through daily actions and sacrifices. This duty shapes every major decision, from career moves to marriage, and even where to live. Family input is sought and valued, and choices are often made with the well-being of the whole family in mind. Success and failure are shared by the whole family, not just the individual. Achievements are celebrated together, and setbacks are faced as a unit. Take Wei, a young man in Beijing. He turned down a big promotion to stay near his aging mother, choosing family over personal advancement. This choice baffled his Western colleagues, who saw career as the ultimate priority. For Wei, family duty outweighed career ambition. His sense of responsibility was rooted in tradition and love. This sense of obligation extends to social networks, guanxi, where relationships are carefully nurtured over time. Helping others is seen as fulfilling a social duty, not corruption. Favors and support are exchanged as part of a moral code. What looks like nepotism from the outside is often the fabric of social trust. These bonds are built on years of mutual support and shared experience. These networks create a safety net in a society with limited state support, ensuring that no one is left behind. The Chinese system of obligation is about mutual support, not just personal advancement. It's a web of care that extends beyond blood ties to friends and neighbors. Family and social ties are the glue that holds society together, providing stability and a sense of belonging. What may seem restrictive is, for many, a source of strength and meaning. These obligations are embraced as a way to honor the past and secure the future. The moral code is collective, not individualistic, shaping a society where people look out for one another and find purpose in connection. Westerners may imagine China's nightlife as a den of vice, but most evenings are communal affairs, dinners, karaoke, and games. KTV bars, with their singing and dice games, are less about hedonism and more about building group bonds. Even drinking rituals serve to break down hierarchies and foster trust. Mahjong parlors, often filled with retirees, are social clubs, not gambling dens. The stakes are low, the real prize is companionship. Even business drinking is about showing respect and sincerity, not just indulgence. Activities that seem like vices are often rituals of social harmony. Context transforms meaning. What looks like sin from afar is, up close, a performance of connection. Leisure in China is about reinforcing relationships, not escaping them. Social harmony is the underlying goal. China's economic boom has fueled a visible pursuit of wealth. Luxury brands, property speculation, and social media flaunting. To outsiders, this looks like materialistic obsession, but for many, wealth is about security, not just status, a shield against the poverty of the past. Parents push children toward high-paying jobs to ensure family stability. Money is a means of protection, not just personal indulgence. Of course, the drive for wealth brings moral challenges, corruption scams, and shortcuts. Yet, these are seen as betrayals of social trust, not celebrated behaviors. Wealth is often shared. Successful entrepreneurs fund schools or roads in their hometowns. The responsibilities of wealth are deeply ingrained. The pursuit of money is a dance between ambition and obligation, security and excess. The story is more complex than simple greed. China's streets are filled with people glued to their phones, an image that's become almost iconic in the modern world. To outsiders, it can look like a disconnected digital society where everyone is lost in their own virtual bubble. But for millions, the phone is a lifeline, connecting migrant workers to families far away, helping small business owners run their shops and giving people access to essential services that might otherwise be out of reach. The digital world here is a tool for connection, for sharing moments, and for bridging distances, not just a source of isolation. Then there's the social credit system, a concept that sparked global debate and fascination. In the West, it's often depicted as a dystopian tool of mass surveillance and control, fueling fears of a society under constant watch. But in reality, the system is a patchwork of local programs, each with its own rules and focus. Most of these programs are aimed at financial credit, business regulation, and encouraging honest dealings, rather than monitoring every move of ordinary citizens. Of course, privacy concerns are real and shouldn't be dismissed, as technology always brings new risks. But the system's stated goal is to build trust in a society where scams and fraud have been persistent problems, especially as life moves online. It's less about total control, and more about creating accountability and transparency, though it's far from perfect in practice. The Western narrative of a sinful, soulless regime often misses the everyday realities and intentions behind these systems. For most people, technology is about convenience, family, and getting through the day, paying bills, staying in touch, and making life a little easier. Technology in China is both a challenge, with its risks and rapid changes, and a solution to social trust, helping people navigate a world where scams and uncertainty are part of daily life. The truth is more mundane, rooted in daily routines, small victories, and the constant balancing act between risk and reward, and more human, full of family, learning, and adaptation than the headlines suggest. Digital life is now woven into the fabric of survival, opportunity, and connection for millions. The story here isn't one of moral decay, but of adaptation, resilience, and the search for trust in a rapidly changing world. Much of what the world knows about China comes from the media, and that lens is often distorted. Western outlets focus on conflict and controversy, painting a negative, incomplete picture. Stories of corruption and pollution dominate, while everyday acts of kindness and community rarely make the news. Chinese state media, meanwhile, offers a sanitized, relentlessly positive image. Both extremes create myths that miss the messy human middle ground. The truth is lost between these poles. China is neither dystopia nor utopia. It's a place of contradictions, where people worry about family, education, and daily life. The real China is found in the ordinary, not the sensational. Media narratives often obscure the country's true complexity. To truly understand China, you have to look beyond the headlines and the sweeping narratives. The real story is found in the small everyday moments that make up daily life, moments that often go unnoticed, but are rich with meaning and insight. In a humble noodle shop in Chengdu, a shopkeeper chats warmly with an elderly neighbor. They share news, laughter, and small acts of kindness. An unremarkable scene at first glance, but one that quietly reveals the society's moral fabric and the deep sense of community that exists here. These quiet acts of care, responsibility, and mutual support happen millions of times a day, in every corner of the country. They are the invisible threads that hold neighborhoods and families together. People aren't motivated by fear of sin or punishment, but by a deep sense of human duty, connection, and the desire to look after one another. It's about relationships, not rules. The label sinful or virtuous dissolves when you see the real people behind the stereotypes, each with their own hopes, struggles, and dreams. Is the young man working long hours to support his family sinful, or is he simply doing what he must, out of love and responsibility? Is the grandmother playing mahjong with friends, laughing and sharing stories, anything but a testament to the joy and resilience of ordinary life? China is not a monolith, but a nation of 1.4 billion individual stories, each one unique, each one valuable. Ancient traditions and modern life collide and blend in complex everyday ways, shaping a society that is always evolving yet deeply rooted in its past. The country's true character is found not in grand gestures, but in its ordinary acts of dignity, kindness, and quiet perseverance. To understand China, you must look for the humanity in its daily life, the warmth, the struggles, the laughter, not just the drama in its headlines. Only then can you begin to see the everyday truth.